Nfon Mukete started by saying that the position of the Southwest was that they don't want to have anything to do with the Northwest. And that if they are talking about federation, the Southwest position was that they didn't want any federation as long as that will have them to do with the Northwest.
If you are a Northwesterner, Bamenda, I'm talking about the Bamenda people, and you are fighting alongside Ambazonia, believing that you want to create a nation called Ambazonia, in which the capital will be in Buea, I am pleading with you to listen to this video that I will play for you to listen. Listen to the video carefully, and what I want you to take from that video is the truth. I told you people that the truth is the only thing that will set us free. And after listening to this video, if you still continue and believe that you will fight alongside Southwesterners in order to achieve a nation, that I will know that there's something wrong with you. Because in some of my videos I told you that it is impossible for Southwesterners and Northwesterners to join together, because there is strong hatred between these two groups of people, and a secret and something came out from Archbishop Nkea, who is in Bamenda, what they discussed in the Grand National Dialogue, in which nobody has said it out. And that Southwesterners stood up and say they can never, when people opted for federation, Southwesterners who were there, especially Nfon Mukete, stood up and said that was Southwesterners and Northwesterners can never be together. When federation was tabled, and then they were moving with it in a very positive way, he stood up and said, Northwest, if Southwesterners would never join and form any federal state with Northwesterners. And that is the video that I want to play for you to listen carefully. And after that, we are going to discuss. Listen carefully and drop your comment, because I told you people that the truth is the only thing that will set us free.
And Mukete went back to history to analyze the divisions and the disagreements between Southwest and Northwest, and that federation on condition that Southwest and Northwest are not together. Now, when he said this was the position that the Southwest brought to dialogue. And the Southwest said, 10-state federation. They were for federation, but 10-state federation. One man from the east and one from the north got up and said, look, we have never been a state. Why do you want to force us into statehood? You say you want 10 states. Why are you forcing us to be a state? You were a state, you know what it means. We have never been. So we don't want. Why do you want to force us into statehood? You say you want 10 states. Why are you forcing us to be a state? You were a state, you know what it means. We have never been. So we don't want state. Big argument broke out in the hall. And in the end, it is some lawyer who got up and went back to the Constitution and said, okay, with these arguments, there is provision for special status. So let us go back now to this Constitution and see how this special status can help Northwest and Southwest remain a little bit independent, but at the same time, not within the Federation. This was a compromise position that came out of the dialogue, because the Southwest position was that they wanted federation, but nothing to do with the Northwest. These are clear facts of history that we lived through in the Grand National Dialogue. So now people are arguing, oh, they want federation, they want this and other. We sat in that hall, and this is how the word special status came about. This is something that we can say is the fruit of the dialogue. And since then, what I think is that the decentralization process and the process of the independence or the autonomy of the regions has to be hastened. We are doing a lot of talking, and very little is happening practically. The regions should be empowered, and the regions should be able to take their own development into their hands. Then this problem will take a different dimension. This is the fruit of the dialogue. Okay. And so we cannot say nothing happened in the dialogue. And I want this history to pass very clearly how special status came about. Because of the disagreement that occurred in the hall between Northwest and Southwest. This is how we quarreled in the hall. It was a very big quarrel. Since I am a man of many worlds, I unfortunately found myself between the Northwest parliamentarians and the Southwest parliamentarians. So I was the one who was almost dividing the fight in the hall with Bishop George Nkea. This is the reality. So people just come and enter the story in chapter 3. They don't understand how it came about. And this is what I want our televiewers to understand.
Grand National Dialogue, meaning what they are even preaching, that there should be one and indivisible Cameroon. It can never work, because if there is one and indivisible Cameroon, Northwesterner will be amongst, and if Northwesterner will be amongst and Southwesterner will be among, in which they can never agree, meaning there will never be any peaceful Cameroon or united Cameroon. That is what listening to Archbishop Nkea. He is a man of God. So I respect what he says in many aspects, spiritually, physically, and as a human being, and a humble and sincere human being, because he has been struggling by all possible means without engaging himself in any political party or any political group or identify with anybody, but he stood in neutral as concerning the Anglophone crisis. And he participated in the Grand National Dialogue that took place in 2019 in Yaoundé to end the Anglophone crisis. And what he said in that video is what was discussed in. And during that period, we were praying for federation. We wanted federation, Cameroon to return to the 1961 constitution, in which Southern Cameroon was a state on its own. But Southwesterners stood up. Elderly man, for that matter, Nfon Mukete, stood up and say, and this history of hatred that have existed between Northwesterner and Southwesterner, and that came as a problem. And he proposed that there should be 10-state federation, in which some people from different regions deny it. Meaning, if it was just 2-state federation, they could have gone in for, because that is something they experienced once. As you listen to that video, and this is what I'm going to say. This is the very hatred that divided in British Cameroon. You know, British Cameroon was British Northern Cameroon and British Southern Cameroon, and this hatred forced British Northern Cameroon to join Nigeria. And when these two British Southern Cameroon and British Southern Cameroon came together, that is the Northwesterner and the Southwesterner, they came together, the Bamenda people and the Bakwere people, they came together. There was serious hatred amongst them, and that is what they did not press on to have their own independence. And then the United Nations and Britain, seeing the laxity and the reluctance within them, they decided to force anything and put anything for them, because they were in disunity. And from that statement that Nfon Mukete mentioned, that Archbishop Nfon Mukete say during the Grand National Dialogue, meaning what they are even preaching, that there should be one and indivisible Cameroon, it can never work, because if there is one and indivisible Cameroon, Northwesterner will be amongst, and if Northwesterner will be amongst and Southwesterner will be among, in which they can never agree, meaning there will never be any peaceful Cameroon or united Cameroon. That is what I take from this. Because people are there occupying space for nothing in Cameroon, and they finally died as state people, state men, in which they have destroyed the nation. We have been fighting, thousands of people have been killed. If in 2019 this thing federation could have been given, I believe the Anglophone crisis could have stopped. And those who were killed after the Grand National Dialogue, up to today, they can blame Nfon Mukete and those who stood against federation for it. They can blame them. I'm saying that the hatred is too much. And you are, as a Northwesterner, I make a video in 2020. I said that if Ambazonia gain independence, there will be war amongst them. Because there is a strong hatred among Southern Cameroonians. Strong hatred, and I don't know where the hatred is coming from. There is strong hatred. And if they don't eliminate that hatred and unite together, they can never fight together and they can never succeed together. That is what I have to tell you today. So if you are fighting as an Amazonian to gain an independence in which the capital will be in Buya, know that you will not succeed. Even if you succeed, you will still be maltreated, marginalized, oppressed and repressed by Southwesterners. There will be no peace. as you are fighting for peace, to have a nation that will be peaceful, a nation that will be free from marginalization, corruption. It will not be, because Southwesterners believe that Northwesterners are beggar. Northwesterners have nothing, but we Northwesterners know that we have potential. We have everything that a nation can boast of. We have it. It is just that most of them have not been discovered. Most of them have not been discovered. We have a lot. So stop fighting to have a nation with Southwest region, because they don't even believe in you. They don't even want you. So as an Ambazonia fighting for that, you should stop. I'm pleading with you to stop, because these people you are fighting to have a capital in their own territory don't want you. That is what I can tell you today. Stop punishing your own. Stop destroying property to join with people who do not even want you. All the problem we face since in 1950 as a British Cameroon have been caused by Southwesterners. And this is the hate speech President Pobia is, the government of President Pobia is preaching. And Nfon Mukete sat in the Grand National Dialogue and came out with a strong hate speech. Up to today, he has not been punished, up to the point that he died. He has not been punished, but he was given a state burial for creating hate speech. If you stand in a nation and you say in Northwesterners and Southwesterners can never unite together, then you are not for unity. And that is all I have for you.